מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ברכוני לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון. מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. תכן לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון. מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Shabbat Shalom, bruchim haba'im, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Rabbi Jesse Charon, and I am privileged to be the spiritual leader of Temple Beth David, a vibrant and Hamish URJ affiliated congregation in Metro Atlanta. Bruchim haba'im, welcome. We're so happy that you have joined us. It is Friday night, November 6th, 2020, the 20th of Cheshvan, the year 5,781, and we are coming to you live from our Sunrise Sanctuary, and we are so happy that you have joined us. We are honored to have our talented Kaballat Shabbat musicians, our Chazan, Barry Nicholsberg, and our Vice President and guitar aficionado, Bobby Horowitz, and again, also on guitar, Frank Monteleone. Thank you. Also, a special thank you to Judy Kern, our president and streaming specialist. But Judy manages the live chat, but not alone. And again, this live chat that she manages with Denise Whitlock, also our streaming specialist, allows for everyone to join in. And if in the link, please use the hyperlink for the URJ Sidor Mishkan Tefillah, which is there and accessible and available to you. Also, we want to say bruchim haba'im to two new members. And when we think about membership, I also want to share this word membership. Member. Okay, we know what the word member is, but in the Hebrew language, there is no word for member. So what do we call Irene Namer and Andrew St. Clair? What language do we use? We can say member, but also we call you our friends, our chaverim, our friends, because that's what it means. I'm sure we're familiar. I don't want to give a whole lesson on Israel, but in Israel, in the Knesset, like the parliament, those that are in the parliament, the MKs, the members of Knesset, in Hebrew it is chavrei Knesset, which is smichut in the grammar, which means friends of the Knesset. So all of our members, you are also called chaverim, our friends. And for all of those watching, we want you to be our friends. So we'll let you know how you can also join. Also this evening we mourn with the Abbas and Passarillo family. We celebrate the life of Zelda Abbas. Zichronah livracha, may her memory forever be a blessing as we continue to talk about her, to remember her, and to memorialize her. Amen. Again, our Kaballat Shabbat service begins on page 120, where we invite our president to come up and to assist us in ushering in and bringing in the Shabbat with lighting the Shabbat candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat. Shabbat really is this Yerusha, this inheritance that we have been gifted. We have been gifted with at this time to center yourself, to prepare yourself for Shabbat. It has been such a difficult week. Take a few breaths. Inhale, exhale, to welcome in the Sabbath. We are all royalty, and let us now get excited as we invite in Shabbat HaMalkah, the Sabbath Queen, with Lechadodi, page 138.
La 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 lechadati, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamo v'zachor, v'zikur echad. Ishmianu el Amilchon, Adonai Echad, Tiferet, Veleti la 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 la. La 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 lechadati, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikabela. La 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 chadati, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Let's get ready to bow to the King. La 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 likrat kala, la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikah, pnei Shabbat nikah, pnei Shabbat nikah.
Likrat kala. I just want to share briefly with you that on Shabbat, no matter what has happened before Shabbat, and for sure, I'm sure it's a difficult time. We're mourning, we're sad, we're frustrated, we don't know what's going on. But on Shabbat, This word that our Chazan mentioned, kala, boi kala, kala. You might know this word. What is a kala? A bride. And so on Shabbat, we're excited. It's like we're at a ceremony to have simcha, to have joy and happiness. So again, I want everyone to sing with us. If you know the tunes, get excited. We can hear you. You might say, Rabbi, you can't hear me. Yes, we can hear you. Sing with us. And now our service continues with the Chatzi Kaddish found on page 144.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabba.
Amen.
V'yamad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach, Olam ulal be'amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitbar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, Shemei Kudusha Barechu, Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Tamiran b'yalma, v'imru, amen.
On page 146, we rise in body and or spirit, because the call is here. The call is the Barechu.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai Adonai Hamivorach Hamivorach Leolam Va'ed Hamivorach Hamivorach Leolam Va'ed.
We continue on page 152 with the Shema, all about active listening.
Last week we had talked about introducing new tunes, and this is one you may have heard before. If you have, I hope you like it. If you haven't, I still hope you like it. It will flow from the Shema straight into the V'ahavta. But I'm going to do something tonight for Kenny Woodruff, who asked me this at least 3 years ago, to do the V'ahavta in English. And Debbie Friedman, may she rest in peace, gave us the music to V'ahavta with words in English. So you'll hear the whole thing tonight in a very different fashion. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod, Shem kevod malechuto le'olam va'ed. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou risest up, and when thou liest down, and when thou liest down. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Beautiful. Our service now continues with page 158 with this Mi Chamocha. We come together as a united community. Mi Chamocha.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la la. Chamocha ba'im Adonai, Chamocha neder b'kodesh, no other hilot or save them. No other Malechotecha hara'u banecha, bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu v'yamro, ze Elianu v'yamro. Adonai Elohim olam Kamocha neder b'kodesh, no other
As we prepare for Hashkivenu, a song all about peace, in this week's Devar Torah, we're going to learn Parsha Vayera. We're going to learn about Abraham, about what does it mean to be righteous and to be a person of justice. And the interesting thing is that we call Avraham Avinu, Abraham our forefather. But again, the Jewish people were not considered to be, yes, we're considered to be the children of Avraham. Yes, that's true. But also we talk about we're Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. And what does this mean, Yisrael? To struggle, to look for, to always be excited, to pursue peace. And that's what Hashkivenu is about, having peace all the time. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu B'Shalom, B'Shalom. Yehamidenu Malkeinu B'Chayim. Froselenu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufroselenu Sukat Shlomecha. Beneath thy wing, O Adonai, hide us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with the morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right.
Amen. On page 162, we have, again, such a beautiful song. It's not even a song, it's more than a song. It's this idea of what the Sabbath is, inclusive of to do the Sabbath, that it shall be a promise between us, between God, for all generations. On the sixth day, everything's created. And what do? We rest. Let us get excited for Vishamru.
Let me hear that one more time, Bobby. I didn't catch it. Veshamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורות מרית העולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות מרית העולם. בני אובן בני ישראל בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות מרית העולם. כי שבת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות מרית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל
rise now in spirit and or body, as we prepare for the Amidah, the Tefillah. Again, this Tefillah we learned, it's not just prayer, but it's getting close to the Creator. Our Chazan now turns and faces the Aron HaKodesh as we prepare for the Amidah, page 164.
Anananananana Adonai. Ananananana Zatai Tita. Ananananana Ofiagi Tahilatecha. Ananananana Ananananana Zatai. Ofiagi Tahilatecha. Ananananana Adonai. Ananananana Zatai. Ananananana Ofiagi Tahilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umegula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, v'Yetzrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakal atah Rav le'oshiha, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somef doflim verofeh cholim, Omatir asorim, Omkayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal kivorot, Umido melach, melech memid, Umchaye, Umatzmiya mitshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot ha'akol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye ha'akol, Atah kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, Ukedoshim b'chol yom yahaleluhu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh.
On page 179, page 178, we have Grant Us Peace by one of our members, Bob Green, to share with us this message. Page 178, Grant Us Peace.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'arech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
At this time, we have some silent meditation, silent devotion for extemporaneous prayer. Take a few moments and pray for whatever it is that you need, that we need, that our world needs. And as we transition from these prayers, we have Eitz Chaim to assist us.
Eitz Chaim v'machazikim bach v'tomechem me'usha deracheha dachenoa v'chol netivoteha Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Eitz Chaim v'machazikim bach v'tomecheha me'usha deracheha da'chenoa v'chol netivoteha Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh Yameinu Kedem.
This next beautiful song, L'chilach, it's about Abraham, Lech Lecha. And we as Jewish people, we live our life constantly on a journey. Say, Rabbi, what does that mean? I've lived in the same house for 30 years. I'm not on a journey. I'm going to say, yes, you are on a journey. It started with Bereshit. Then we had Noah. Then after Noah, we had Lech Lecha. Then after Lech Lecha, this Shabbat, Parsha Vayera. Next week we have Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah. We're always on a journey. And what is the journey? Every week we continue to read a new Parsha, to learn new things. And what's the origin for us learning and being on our journey? The origin now is L'chilach, from Abraham, Lech Lecha, that God told Abraham to go on a journey. And just as we go every week together on a journey, because what does the journey do? It gives us, which you're going to hear tonight from our Chazan and from our Shabbat musicians, Simchat Chaim, happiness and joy in our lives. L'chilach.
L'chilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. L'chilach, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach. And I shall make your name great. L'chilach. And all shall praise your name. L'chilach. לשמחת חיים, לשמחת חיים, לשמחת חיים, לאימא. To a land that I will show you. To a place you do not know. On your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. To a land that I will show you. To a place you do not know. On your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing.
And now, at this time, we prepare for the Misha Berach. And what is this Misha Berach? This service for healing. The prayer can be found on page 371. But when we think about this Misha Berach, I just want to share briefly with you that I used to be a hospital chaplain. And I used to visit and offer blessings to everyone. And the power of the blessing is so strong because it impacts everyone. Not only the person that I'm praying for, but also it impacts me, and also all of the nurses and the hospital staff and medical staff and personnel on the floor that go in. They'd say, wow, someone's here, someone's blessing them. That's such a special thing. At this time, we want to elevate all of those individuals that are in need of a refuah shlema, loved ones, friends, family, to elevate and to say, God, you are the Rofei Kol Basar V'Dam, the ultimate healer. Listen to our prayers. We have loved ones that are in need of healing, healing of the body, of the mind, of the spirit. And please remember our prayers and heal them. Please now share with us the names.
Linda Ehrensaft, Marcy Schulman, Nina Dubman, Joe Wagner, Kenny Woodruff, Rachel Galuk, Stacy Bernard Roth, Sam Namer, Sue Keller, Jennifer Nix, Tammy and Rick Roman, Frank Baugh, Morris and Felice Friedman, Margaret Goldstein, Irene Namer, those affected by COVID-19, Blair and Alan Falk, Susan Ellers, Joe Wheel, Ronnie Eggers, Morris Friedman, Ann Olin, Sandra McCallahan, Victoria Meyer, Susie Horowitz, Robert Whitlock, Barbara Whitlock, Jessica Whitlock, Jill Candell, Brian Candell, Ben and Madison Candell, Jane Remillard, Katie Wright, Deborah Lee Wright, Austin Blake, Rick Roman, Michelle Roth, Rowan Roth, Jennifer Nix, Rebecca Roman, Don Copsey, Ron, Amy, and Victoria Copsey, Jesse Morton, Jerry Wood, Phyllis Chambers, Ada Ruth Ganger, Mila Binstock, Morris Friedman, Barbara Yarborough, Irma Schiller, Ann Tepper, Gary Yax, Dee Yax, Roxana Gomez, all those afflicted by COVID-19.
Kenny Woodruff, Megumi Allen, Frank Monteleone, Ann Norton, Marilyn Karsten, Leslie Karsten, Jean Kirchhoff, Shelley Perkel, Brenda Gibson, Paula Terry, Peter Yarrow, Anya Polara, Louisa Piet, Natalie Kohlhaas, Ben DeSalvo, Joel Kellner, Laura Friedman, Sonia Friedis, Mickey D'Amato, And normally I would then say those who have been affected by COVID-19. I think we've moved into a whole new world of horror, as now more than 5,000 Americans contract COVID-19 every hour of every day. There are 250,000 Americans who've contracted this disease in the past 2 days alone. We have to do something. Prayer has got to help. I think maybe we need to do more than pray. Misha Berach.
Hermina and Alex Levy, Ann Tepper, Nava and Ziva Charon.
Bob Yarborough, Susie Horowitz, Ann Olin, Edwin Speck, Andrew Wheeler.
Let us now pray for all those that are in need of healing. A refuah shlema, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach, may the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Arnie Dobron, Maurice and Felice Friedman, Muriel Schlein, Ray and Jerry Roberts, Stuart Friedis, Jerry Hunt.
And we continue. Please share with us again all of those names. We continue to pray for a refuah shlema. Tonight, for the sermon, for this Shabbat, I want to wish everyone first a good Shabbos. And I want to say again to our new members, Irene Namer, and Andrew St. Clair, bruchim, haba'im, welcome. This word again, we spoke about members. Thank you for being our friends, and welcome to this Hamish community. This week's Devar Torah, the sermon is going to be interesting. It's relatively short, but the topic really is God wrong? Frequently, is God wrong? So think about that. You know, there's some of the great rabbis, I think, I'd like to think I'm also a great rabbi, but some of the great rabbis were thrown into cherem, which means they were cast off their books. I'm not yet published. Hopefully, Bimhei Ravi Amenu, hopefully soon. Speedily I will be. But this idea of questioning, God is all-powerful, all-knowing. God knows everything before we do something. So what happens this week? Let's look inside. Genesis, verses 16 through 19. The story now, I want to set the stage. The stage it's Chom Hayom, the heat of the day. The heat of the day. And Abraham is sitting outside. He's sitting outside of his tent. He's having a conversation with God. And then he sees an angel, one person, three people. Three people, he runs to them and says, "My lords," he uses the language, Adonai, "don't pass before me, please. cleans their feet, brings them inside into the tent, because he embodies the principle of to be welcoming the guest, achnasat orchim, welcoming the guest. He brings them inside, and what are they there to do? Well, a few things. One, to hopefully heal Abraham. Why? Because the rabbis tell us it's the third day after circumcision. The third day is the most painful. But also to announce, now Abraham's 99 years old, his wife is 90. They go there, they're eating, they have a meal, and then the angels say, "Where is your wife?" He says, "Oh, Sarah's hiding. She's in the tent." And they say, "Well, we're going to be back next year, and she'll have a child." She laughs. Okay, then the third is, the angel also is there to go to the evil cities, if you will, of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, what does this mean? Is God wrong? So this is where we are now. Let's look inside. And the men rose up from there. They've achieved everything. Again, they were there. They had the meal. They told Abraham and Sarah that they're going to be with child. And they looked out towards Sodom, to the city, and they said that in the city there's evil. And we spoke about what the evil is, that the city was unkind. And Abraham went with them to bring them on their way, to go. And what was the angels were going to rescue? Here, Abraham's the greatest uncle. Who are they going to rescue? They're going to rescue Lot, the nephew. And the Lord said, "Shall I hide? Shall I hide from Abraham that which I am doing? I'm going to destroy these cities, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him to the end that he may command his children and his household after him, that they may keep the way of the Lord, to do righteousness and justice. That Abraham and us, the progeny of Abraham, B'nai Abraham, the children of Abraham, that we're going to do righteousness and justice, to the end that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him, to him." What does it mean to do righteousness and justice? That now, here, God is saying, should I tell Abraham? Should I tell Abraham what I'm going to do? Abraham's a righteous person who pursues justice. What do I want Abraham to do? Let's find out. To keep the way of the Lord. What does this mean, to keep the way of the Lord? That God is actually saying, "Abraham, I want you to challenge me. I want you to challenge me because you know what? I'm not always right." Genesis verse 23. Lifnei Adonai vayigash Abraham. Vayomer ha'af tisped sadik im rasha. And Abraham drew near. Abraham goes to God and says to God, would thou indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked? I'm going to go and I'm going to destroy these cities. I want you to be righteous. I want you to be justice. Come and challenge me. God is going to use this attribute of justice. When we think about God, the 13 attributes, we know Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun. We say this, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the name of God. So God is going to say, I'm going to use the attribute of justice. Why? Because I have to destroy these cities because the evil. I've heard the evil in these two cities. And what does Abraham say? Abraham goes to God and says, God, yes, you're a just God. But what about the attribute of mercy, righteousness, forgiveness? Are you able to do that? So what happens? So eventually it starts with 50. If there are chamishim ish. And Abraham says, 50. What about 45? 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. 10 righteous people. Now when we think about 10, why 10? Now 10 is the source. That might be a good thing. Why didn't he continue? Now Abraham knew That's why Abraham didn't continue. He said, I know what God's capable of. God knows everything. And I know that God knows. So why didn't I go less than 10? Because I know when Noah and Noah's 3 sons and their wives and God went into the teva, went into the ark, that's 8 people. That's 8 people. And you know what? When those 8 people went in, what did God do? He didn't. The rainbow was there after the flood. The flood was there. God destroyed everything and only saved 8. And only saved 8. So Abraham said, I'll stop with 10. I'll stop with 10. And from there we get the idea of the minyan, the quorum. And at that moment, it's a strange thing in the text, God really disappears. God really disappears. And then they're in the city of Sodom. So I want to share with you when it says, is God always right? Is God always right? God knows that, and eventually what happens with Sodom and Gomorrah? The final analysis, the conclusion is they're destroyed. So why was Abraham being so, if you will, argumentative? Because that's what it means to be righteous. That's what it means. That we should always pursue justice and righteousness, no matter what the odds are against us. Doesn't matter the outcome. We continue to pursue, and even if it's what will be, but we continue. And even for one person, again in Judaism we have the value of pikuach nefesh, as our Chazan just mentioned, with everything happening in the world with Corona every single day. And to share this with you, that you might have heard a blessing. There's a blessing for putting on a face mask. And some rabbis, for sure it's a beautiful blessing to put on a face mask. But this idea is similar to tzedakah, giving charity. There's no blessing for giving charity. Why is there not a blessing? The rabbis asked this question. There's so many blessings. I'm about to give a whole session on Hebrew blessings and prayer soon. You'll see it soon in the email. But the rabbis ask, why is there no blessing to give charity? And the rabbis say there's no blessing for charity because it's incumbent upon everyone. Everyone has to do it. So the same way, to be righteous, to protect others, to put on a face mask, to make sure that we keep all the CDC guidelines, there's really no blessings because it's incumbent on all of us. Remember to pursue justice and righteousness, to challenge, to question, and to grow in learning and in Torah. Shabbat Shalom. Our service now continues with page 586 with the second paragraph of Aleinu. Please rise in body and or spirit as the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark, is opened.
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצו, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש בורא שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושבי הקרוב בשמיים ממעל, ושינת עוזו בגוהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו עבד זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. For you spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your majestic abode is in the heavens above, and your mighty presence is in the loftiest heights. You are our God. There is none else. In truth, you are our sovereign without compare, as is written in your Torah. Know then this day and take it to heart, that Adonai is surely God in the heavens above and on the earth below. There is none else. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. As we prepare for El Malei Rachamim, let us read together on page 593, The Light of Life. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair. For we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our Chazan now will share with us El Malei Rachamim.
Before I do, I want to say that it's with great sadness that I will sing this evening specifically in memory of Zelda Abbas. Zelda, who passed yesterday, was the mother of Barry Abbas, who was president of this synagogue for 4 years. Also, she was the mother of Ronnie Pesarillo, who was the chair of our Oneg committee, and I trust she will be again when we finally have an Oneg again. Rabbi said earlier that members are friends. If I can argue with God, I can argue with him too. I think members are family. This is the mishpucha. We are who we are, but we are all family. And so as Barry and Janet and Ronnie mourn their losses, as her grandchildren mourn her loss, I for them and for her will chant El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shachen Baramim, Hamsem Nechana, Tacha Kanfei, Ashechina, Im kedoshim oteharim kizohar harakia masirim lanishmot Zelda Abbas Yakireino Shalchol Barachamim Harachamim Yasti Rem Besefte Kinafav Yolamim Bitror Achayim et Nishmatam Adonai Unachalatam V'yanu b'shalom Hamishkavam V'nomar Amen.
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own Zichronam Livracha. We remember the passing of Zelda Abbas, Zichronam Livracha. May her memory forever be a blessing. If you are commemorating a yortzeit, if you are in Shiva, 7 days of mourning, 30 days of mourning, or a yortzeit, the anniversary of a passing of a loved one, please share with us their names. Ned Isaacs, Vicky Morton, Bob Molnar, Dr. Jim Bartling, Maurice Goldstein, Joanne Sexton, Patrick Myers, George Kirchhoff, Martha Young, Donald Woodruff, Mickey McKinney, Dr. Norman Freed, Pedro Martinez, Helen Brudner, Gary Peck, Norman Leikach, Elabeth Green. And we continue after the 11 months of mourning. Now we have the yortzeits where we always remember. Rose Rabin, Joseph Zidell, Raymond Beach, Elsie Kronfeld, Helen Sadler, Diane Weller, Al Moskowitz, Estelle Roman, Mark Diskin, Rita Darnofsky, Sally Paykoff, Lonnie Bloodworth, Calvin Weiss, Sandra Goodman, Albert Stuckler, John Brown, David Perkel, Michael Abrams, Judith Hafley, Gert Doctorman, Abraham Glickman, Rosalind Schiller, Esta Field, Philip Berlin, Ruth Schloss, Doug Fletcher, Mac Freed, Arthur Levitt, Simpson Andrews, Sam Lesser, Toby Schur, Lillian St. Clair, Irene Silverman, Clarence Silverman. We think of all of these names, all of our loved ones, and we say, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. And now we rise together. We rise together in solidarity as we recite our Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom, found on page 598. Let us recite this together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divrach yirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Please be seated. When we think about our service, we continue with Yismechu. On Shabbat, as I mentioned earlier, the rabbis say, not to mourn, to sing with joy and happiness and love. Yismechu.
So instead of doing Adon Olam this evening, we're just changing it up a little bit. Yismechu. Please join us. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Mikadeshei, Mikadeshei Shevi Shabbat, Kolam Yisbe'o, V'yit'angu mitu v'chashabah, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Uvashmi ratzita bo bekidash to Shabbat, chemot yamim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Lemase v'reishi Shabbat, zecher lemase v'reishi Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'koret, oneg Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. And now I invite our president, Judy Kern, to share with us some announcements.
Tomorrow after services, Steve will be hosting the Shabbat Shmooze session, and I will post the link to the Zoom session in the chat box momentarily.
Perfect. Also, again, thank you to everyone. Also, again, we're an eternal people, here, the Jewish people. We always remember the good things, but we also remember the difficult things, the tragedies that befell our people. And we commemorate Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass, on the 9th and 10th on Monday evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our Tehillim group, and so our group of psalms will have psalms of mourning to commemorate the tragedies and the atrocities that befell our people on the night of the broken glass. And our Chazan, do we have some announcements?
First, I would like, of course, to thank Bobby and Frank. As always, it's a great pleasure to work with you. Thank you for making all of this possible. If you have any particular tunes for some of the songs, or you have another song that you would like us to do, please let us know. You put it in the chat box, send us an email, something. Just let us know. If you like some of these new tunes, please let us know. If you don't, please let us know that as well. And ultimately, as I mentioned about a month ago, I will mention again, we are looking for someone to step in as the Chazan, as I step away. And so if you have an interest in taking on this role, I will be happy to work with you, give you all the help and guidance and books and everything else, but it's time. So please, volunteer, let me know.
We're in the month of Cheshvan, but again, the next month that you're all familiar with, we all know the holiday, Kislev, the Hanukkah. So the Rebbitzin is doing a program. Please check Facebook, Temple Beth David, Snellville. We have the Rebbitzins leading a program called Hanukkah Chagiga. It's incredible. I know I want to go. I think I'll try to be there, but it's really intended for if you're 5 years and younger. So if you know anyone who is 5 years and younger, please go. And also, yes. And also, again, we know with everything going on in the COVID, with the coronavirus, we're also offering a program for Thanksgiving. We're going to have essentially a Thanksgiving meal in a box. So please register. You're going to hopefully pick up the box. It will be contactless. You'll come to Temple Beth David. We'll give you the box. And then you will return home, and we'll have a delicious Thanksgiving meal together via Zoom, where we can celebrate and say hello to everyone. Again, our recording secretary hopefully sent everything out, and also check Facebook. So I want to wish everyone good Shabbos, be well, and now we're going to receive the priestly benediction.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May the Creator bless us and protect us.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May the Creator shine kindness and countenance upon us.
Yisar Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May our eyes be illuminated, and may we be able to see, and may we be blessed with peace.
V'yasem lecha shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.